Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo and Joe Bear in the house. And as always, you know the deal. As always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and wake up the football gods. Wake up there, guys. Wake up. Wake up. There we go. They're awake. And man, it's Monday. You know, I used to hate Mondays, but for about the last 5 years, I've loved having Mondays because Monday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern, we have our live stream. And we get lively in here. We got a few new tricks, and I'm hoping one more thing will come today that'll hopefully make the experience a little bit better. We're constantly trying to evolve and improve, and if you have some ideas or suggestions of things, and I know you Eagles fans will say, get off the air. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, okay? Forget about it. No, but if you have some ideas or suggestions for the channel, drop a comment, and, we'll see what we can do to make those things for you guys, because I always believe if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So you always have to strive to be better and better and better, and eventually you will get to where you want to be. I want to give a shout out this morning. Yesterday afternoon, I was working on that big box. I was putting some more varnish on the covers and stuff on there, and my phone's in my pocket. Now, some of you have had me butt dial you by mistake on Facebook or on the phone and things like that because it's in my pocket. It's got a mind of its own. And yesterday, it ended up being that I ended up calling back somebody who sent me a message on Facebook. Mandrell Harris. I hope I said your name right because I'm a name butcher. And he was happy. He was like, man, I'm so happy you called me back and things. And we had a conversation and stuff and things. And it's people like him that are the reasons why I get motivated to do this. Mondrell has stage 4 cancer, and he said, the doctor said that he shouldn't be here, that his time should have been up. But he's put it all out there and put it in God's hands and is doing great through this. And in some regards, this is a miracle. And, he said that listening to me and Michael Anthony Fitness and things on YouTube has been a motivation for him and helping him get through the days. And for me, it's an incredible feeling that I haven't done anything other than sit here and talk, okay? I'm not putting that, let's give God credit on that one. But I want all you guys to think about your fellow man, okay? We're going through some traumatic stuff right now in the world, and it's hard. There's a lot of people that are hurting right now, and we, as Americans, have always been that country, that people that looked out for others. And this is the time where we all need to come together and start doing that again and looking out for others. So shout out to you, Montrell, and everybody keep him as well as everybody else in your prayers that we can get through this thing. So on to the Dallas Cowboys. Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory, who fell in the draft, and the Cowboys took a chance on him. The Cowboys, when you think about the Cowboys back in the 70s, 60s and things, what made the Cowboys great was getting talent where people weren't getting it. They went to small black schools and things like that, found players and things. They ended up bringing a statistician in and started using computers to figure out the probability of a person succeeded. That's where they ended up getting Bob Bullet Hayes, who was a track star, didn't really know football, and made him a Hall of Famer. Because ultimately, you need better talent than the next guy. Yeah, you can scheme up and beat people sometimes, but more times than not, having more talent or better talent is going to carry you a lot further than not. And that's where the Cowboys had getting all of that talent that they had during the 70s and 80s. And you can look at the 90s, having lightning in a bottle with the Herschel Walker trade and bringing all those players, but not only those players and those draft picks, knowing what to do with them. The Washington football team ended up getting the New Orleans Saints whole draft so that way Mike Ditka could draft Ricky Williams. Well, they had 7 picks and did nothing with it. So having it, if you don't know what to do with it, doesn't help you. And herein lies part of the problem with the Cowboys. We've had the talent, we just haven't known what to do with it. Hopefully that changes with Mike McCarthy. But Randy Gregory, who failed drug tests at the combine, fell into our laps the second day, second round draft pick, and was or should have been a top 15 draft pick. Would have made a boatload of money, but unfortunately had the drug issues and being suspended and everything else. If you've been under a rock and don't know, but that's been his only transgression. It hasn't been out smoking weed and driving and having an accident. It hasn't been domestic violence. It hasn't been robbing anybody. It hasn't been, going after coaches or being late to meetings. It's just that he smokes weed, and we find out that weed smoking is no longer a suspendable offense. That weed smoking, most players understand, I get 1 test a year. As long as I pass that one, I ain't got to worry about it. Chris Long basically admitted all that after he left football. Hey, come March, stop smoking weed. Wait till the test is in April. Go back to smoking weed. Did it throughout my career. So Randy is flustered about not being reinstated. He's seen Alvin Smith come back through here. We've seen them make decisions on other players, like now DeAndre Baker, who is on the commissioner's list and things like that. And he's like itching to get back there. If you go to Randy Gregory's Twitter page, you'll see his pinned tweet. I really miss playing football and being a player in the NFL. I'm doing everything that is asked of me, and I'm in great physical shape, mentally, emotionally, but I'm still being held back from furthering my career because of COVID testing. Let me finish pulling that up. Wait a minute. I'm asking more questions than I'm getting answered. It's amazing that the powers that be keep passing the buck and also use this pandemic as a way to prevent me from joining my team. Telling me just sit and wait in limbo over things I can't control, all the while everything right off the field is unfair and flat out wrong. So, that's what he has pinned August 5th. If you go down further, this was 16 hours ago. Folks, I've been asking my rep for the NFLPA for correspondence regarding my case for reinstatement. His advice for me, and this is his response. Mind you, this was after 3 emails I sent me. Joe Briggs blocks you. So he's being blocked. I go to Joe Briggs. He's posted a few this morning. Hey friends, I've seen some mentions and some threats therein. I see the statements made about me and my character. I appreciate you checking on me. I'm putting my son to bed and doing the same myself. Here's hoping that you all have an excellent week. More life. Okay. So if we go a little further, let me see if I say this one. Wait, where was it? Did I get the wrong one? Hold up. Okay. Now this is where he ended up getting blocked here. And I've got some advice for Randy myself here, but here's what we got. Randy Gregory, this was 6 days ago. I find it interesting that you have time to tweet all day, but you and your boss can't email me and my agent back. At NFLPA, can you help me understand? It's Randy Gregory tweeting now at Joe Briggs because he says he sent emails to him. You should have an email from me shortly. If it's not in your inbox already, I continue to support you. My number is still the same. And then Randy Gregory tweets back. Don't try to save face publicly. We both know what happened behind closed doors. And then, of course, Joe responds, we do. I respect you and your confidentiality and will work with you. Please give me a call if you need anything. It'll be your own people, huh, Joe? So we don't know exactly what's going on. There's definitely some bad blood here that Randy Gregory is getting flustered. And here's the problem for Randy Gregory. I know he wants to get back on the field, and I'd like to see him back on the field. I'd like to see him back on the field and getting 10 sacks. I'd like to see him taking care of business and not having the issues that he's had. But the problem is going after the NFLPA or going after the NFL is going to hurt the case. It's one of those things that, I understand you're flustered, you're upset, you want to get back, you want answers. But the more you push and you make them look bad, the less likely they are going to help you. One thing I've learned, being a contractor, you may have an inspection. Inspector comes in there and maybe he's had a bad weekend and, he's mad at his wife or his wife's mad at him and everything else. And he is just being a bear. I had an inspector who literally counted every single screw and nail. He pulled out the tape measure and he measured the distance between the nails on the plywood sheathing. This one is 8.5 inches. It needs to be 8. Right here, right here. Literally measured each. I'm just like, I ain't never seen this before in my life. And some people will go through and they'll go off. You're crazy, this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, but it doesn't mean it's going to go into, oh, okay, you know what, I'll give you a break. We had another job. We were building a furniture store. And they decided that they were getting some of the furniture in before the space was built. And I kept saying, you can't have stuff here. We don't have an occupancy permit. And they're like, oh, no, it's okay. Building inspector comes in to do inspection. He's like, what's all this stuff in here? I was like, their trucks came early and they brought some stuff in here. He said, I want that shit out of here. Okay. I go back to people working for, hey, got a problem with building inspector. He wants his stuff out of here. Well, we'll just move it in the back so it looks like we're moving it. Okay. Had to call for another inspection. Inspector comes in, does an inspection, and sees, I thought I told you to get that shit out of here. I said, they're working on it, and they've gotten some of it out, and he's like, no, I want it all out. I go back to them and said, hey, you got to get that stuff off of here because I got an inspector crawling up my behind. And so the owner of the company decided to call the county and bitch and moan. Next thing I know, building inspector comes back, locks the place down, puts a chain on the door. Actually, I got that backwards. Excuse me. Inspector came back, put a chain on the door. Then they called the building department. Had some friends downtown, the county. The inspector came back. He took the chains off. They were allowed to keep the stuff in there. But from that point on, that was the hardest project I've ever had as far as a building inspector. So what I've learned is getting pissed off and mad and angry and making them look bad doesn't work. Sometimes you have to smile and you got to dance. It's cool. Being friendly and being, it sucks. It sucks because you're in the right. But sometimes you got to do to get along. And pissing people off is not going to further the case. I don't know how this is going to work out or if it's going to work out. I feel you, Randy, but you can't do this on Twitter. You can't do this on Twitter. You do not make the NFL look bad because they literally hold your future in their hands. So with that being said, that's all I got for you this morning. Hopefully we'll have another day with the Dallas Cowboys being Rona free. We do know that right now it's beginning to look more and more doubtful that college football will have a season this fall, in which case we may see football on Saturday in the NFL. We may be seeing some ugly games, but we'll be seeing some games. All right, guys, I got work to do. I'm going to get up out of here, and I will see you guys later.